Showtime, it says on the screen, says we are live. Nanette, welcome back again.
Hi, thanks for having me, and happy Easter for those who celebrate from
Here, let's
Tombstone.
let's uh, let's switch spots so we can zero in on your customized Easter tombstone. There, it was wonderful, painted on mustache,
Yeah,
and his traditional cigar to be cigaring around.
and fall off.
There he goes.
There he goes. That's the most you'll get from Tombstone, maybe.
All right, jumping from the Tombstone commentary to the Michaela commentary. Good evening and happy Svengoolie. How's the Svengoolie night, says Michaela, as well as Easter weekend to all from Storgoolie. And Michaela's already double pumped. That was her pre-comment from from a half hour ago. Michaela's up to current comment says, Storgoolie is watching live at my basement, maybe AKA the Storgoolie dungeon. Watch the Three Stooges before the festivities. So Michaela, let's even open with that. Now we're trying to cover all the coverage in chronological order, which would
Mhm.
include starting before we get to C2E2 that Nanette was able to go to. Those were the days. But let's come to answer Michaela's question. Michaela, you wanted us to ask, what does it take to be a horror host, or what would Sven's advice be to you? So we asked him in the autograph line Friday morning, first thing, and he kind of, he does his self-depreciating humor. He's like, what do I know about being a horror host? But absolutely, Michaela, we will persist on the question if we want to have you drop it in when you do a mailing and all that stuff. So we will continue to chase down the answer. But now that we've acknowledged Michaela is our first commenter of the night, let us come to the chronological order coverage before even the C2E2. Nanette, I was not there. You were there. Please walk us through. He wasn't in the Sven outfit. He was just in his standard human persona of Rich Koz. What,
Mhm.
what 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 was all going on at the event? Tell us all about it.
Well, I will say this, it's a long event, so, because it's, 3 plus hours, but what I like about it, and here's the program, um what I like about it is they recreate old time radio during those couple of hours. And what they had so many people. They had Trace Bale. I'm never gonna say his name right. Bale. They had Rich. They had Dag Julian. They had Bill Leff. And I ended up putting on my glasses for driving, and then I could see everybody on stage. Whereas if I didn't have my I was like, oh, okay, which one? But that was that was so much fun, and I we got to see a live broadcast of Easy AM 66, which is Rachel I'm not going to say her name right, Lichtman, and I believe Dag Julian does some of that, but Rich did commercials for that fake radio station, and that was fun to see them do that. But the things that stand out the most was they had done a recreation of I'm trying to read it, 1949 broadcast of Butch Minds the Baby, and Rich played a safe cracker, and the name of the baby was really, really long. It was Aloysius something, 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 and they kept bringing it up, and I wish I would have written it down. But my favorite part was, it seems during when they were talking, um, Rich was a little late in getting to the microphone for his part, and he made a joke, "Oh, I was outside having a smoke," or something like that, and it just made everybody laugh. So that was a lot of fun. But
So good. So good with his spontaneous on the fly humor that he's well versed and well practiced in over the years. Again,
Mhm.
I wish I could have been there to see it all break down. I'll just point out my observation as you're talking. He played a safe cracker. So typically he's working his way out of a coffin, but now in his role in this other setting, instead of coming out of the coffin, he's breaking into the safe. So that's just an interesting crisscross
Yep,
there as I see it.
yep. And another bit they had done, well, they did the radio primer, not primer, but primer by Norman Corwin. I really like that, but that was they went from A to Z on different things about the radio. I liked it, but wow, it was long. But what really made me laugh, there was I can't remember. They kind of did. I want to say it was like an opening from the original Those Were the Days broadcast with Chuck Shaden. And Chuck Shaden's part was played by Steve Darnell. And it had all these characters coming up and talking to him. And Bill's was the Whistler. And I can't remember, but the Whistler, he walks by nights and he knows things. He finds out things about people. And he kept saying, when he was talking to Steve, but I'm the Whistler. I walk by night. I know things. And it just, and then Rich, I believe, and um, I believe it's the Great Gildersleeve, the person that if you watch Bugs Bunny cartoons and goes, "Well, Mr. Bunny," that particular person, and that always made me laugh. So that was a lot of fun.
I wish it would have worked out in the cards that I could have been there, but again, you can't hit every event. And again, that's what part of what we do is try to have multiple people on the team to provide coverage, so those of us who didn't make it to one or the other can still get a recap.
Oh, and I feel bad. I bumped into Ron and Angela Urban that I always see at Svengoolie events. And I think we were going to try to meet up after the show, but we had to go home. So I apologize, Angela and Ron. I screwed that up.
Angela and Ron, if you're out there, maybe next time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot.
Well, let's okay. So was there any one standout memory or moment of it that was like your top selection there, or was it just cool to have Rich involved across the whole presentation?
It's amazing the amount of people that are on that stage. I mean, there was so much talent, and to see all of them work seamlessly, recreating old time broadcasts, that was the best part. I loved all that. The previous the 50th anniversary, because this was the 55th. Rich had played the part of Groucho Marx as the judge, and that was the indecisive molecule, and that having him portray Groucho Marx through that whole thing was just absolutely delightful. If you can get a hold of that CD or digital download on Nostalgia Digest, I recommend downloading it for that, because he was just wonderful.
At the top of his game.
Yes, he was. He was also at the top of his game during this one, but I like him as Groucho, but that's me.
Yes, a good pairing between interpreter and historical character. Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, so that covers the pre C2E2. And again, many thanks to Nanette for being out there. And if anybody else was there and you want to leave your impressions in the comment section while we're live, or if you're watching after the fact, then please, you're more than welcome to jump in the comment section with your impressions from Those Were the Days, which was at the College of DuPage, just a touch west of Berwyn. Okay, Michaela's got another comment. She's saying, I've heard of Those Were the Days, hoping I can listen to it soon. Absolutely.
Next week, I believe you can watch it on the internet, on WDCB's website. I recommend going there, but I believe it's being broadcast next weekend. The one that just happened.
All right. And as we just alluded to a short minute ago, one of the top orders of business was to start C2E2 on Friday morning. It did not take long for Nanette and for me to find each other in the Svengoolie line for the autographing session Friday morning. As we said, we got up there, and one of the primary things to do was to get Michaela's question up there. And it's a long line of people, and Sven's a jokester. So of course he's going to, what do I know about being a horror host? That kind of stuff. So Nanette, do you have the item which you got autographed, or do you have a?
Oh, that for that day, that was I got Those Were the Days. What was this called? Program brochure. I got that signed to Christopher Hamby, and that's in the mail. So that's gone. But gosh, what was I? Oh, I did, and he's too far away, but I did bring the action figure from Horribles with me, and it made me laugh that Dave Fuentes recognized it right away. Rich said, "Is that from Horribles?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is
Yes,
from
he did.
Horribles."
Yes, he did. Like rather
Yep.
quickly too. Like he hadn't seen it for however many years, but it was an instant recall for him to peg where it was from.
But you got something autographed, and I believe you may end up on the show because there was a little bit of back and forth
There was. So let me.
between.
Okay, so let's jump around a little bit then. So short minutes after the autographing line, then courtesy of you who had set up for the photo op.
Oh, that.
So,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah, I
let me
got. I'm
switch.
sorry, I got that too.
Okay, here, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead.
Mine's all glary because of the. Yeah.
All right, then let's see if I can have a less glare. Let's trade spots and let's go here
You
and
got better. Yeah.
right. So I decided to go with Sven on vacation, kind of, and this is again, I want to say the insistence, but let me say at the motivation of, at the encouragement of Chai Star G. Chai Star won't be joining us tonight, but regular contributor to the show. So again, this was your photo op, and you were gracious enough to let me tag along. So this was shortly after the autograph line, but I had never been up to the line before in a direct costume as such. I could make that a longer story for another time, but we got so much to get to tonight. Anyway, so then yeah, hopefully that'll get through the editing and Sven started to, do what he does and do the humors, do the jokes. So given that that specific Hawaiian shirt there is a bit of a Tom Selleck and Magnum PI era, I should have had an audio player. We should have audio recorded it, but that keeps the anticipation waiting till the. I'm hoping that it'll be my first time to appear on the actual show in jokes with Sven. And let's see what Michaela is saying. I'm loving the vacation Sven costume as well as the rubber chicken. Yes, and that was again we were giving out the small scale rubber chickens, and that was pretty successful. And it's all right, but I'm poorly prepared here. Anyway, the no, I'm not that poorly prepared here. I have a smaller scale of it right here. So based on the Norman Rockwell painting of Nighthawks, which is in the Chicago Art Institute Museum, I just did a parody or a recreation of that. So in which it's like a late night coffee house. So I was taken from our old pal J Spy 25, who designed the Frankenstein lab equipment. And then the bar here is to match the Cheers characters, or was come out around the same time with the Cheers characters from Mego. So we have Figures Toy Company and Mego intermixed here. So I just like that we credit to Laser Mego for having such a shiny surface there to be able to catch a reflection of
Nice.
Sven's face and Frankenstein's face. So that is what I
Yeah.
had signed from Sven right there.
Oh, and I'm sorry. That's Edward Hopper that
Oh,
did
who did I
Nighthawk.
say? I said Norman Rockwell?
Yeah.
Nope, don't apologize for absolutely.
We just visited the painting a while back, Kurt and myself, because we went to the Art Institute, and it's in the same gallery, I think, as the Ivan Albright stuff. So, yeah.
Edward Hopper, absolutely. I think I was saying that originally at some point. I crossed my wires. So probably at least 2 or 3 shows I've been saying Rockwell instead, but it's absolutely Hopper. Okay. All right. So there we go. So that was the first part of Friday morning and then into Friday afternoon. Now we kind of replicated something that we had invented or experimented with in the rounds of the last flashback. So we're going around and seeing the sites of Artist Alley. So I almost missed a key thing. So there comes the comic creator, Jill Thompson, who is the inventor of the driving force behind the scary godmother character. Very often, if you look on the Sven set, as they change around their items so very much, you can see the scary godmother action figure, scary godmother doll. So you had already stopped by her booth, and then we went back and took your picture with her. Do you have your memorabilia from there on hand,
Yes,
or not?
yes,
So
I do. Here we go. But there's
trade
it's
spots
hard to
again.
see, but this is I had gone to both autograph signings the day of when he went to Graham Crackers and then went to Aw Yeah. So that was getting there back and forth was fun. But I got Svengoolie's signature, and there it is, Jill Thompson's signature, and she was really nice. And I also bought a scary godmother pin from her, and I had my picture taken with her. I don't know if this will show up or not, but what I liked was we're laughing at something. Did you take this photo?
Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure because, yep, I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, because I don't know what we're laughing at there, but it is kind of funny. We're both like laughing at something. So
I'm going to assume I told a Sven level funny joke in that second.
you might have, you might have. But yeah, I went there in the beginning, and that's why I was late getting in line because she was still setting up, and I wanted to wait and have her sign this. And then we went back because I realized I did not get my photo taken with her, and I wanted that. So
And I was having a slight technical business, but as we're sitting here talking, I think I navigated through. So we were trying to look at the feet of
yes,
the action figure to identify it, and it wasn't coming even to expand the photo. It still wasn't perfectly clear. So we think we got to revisit with a magnifying glass. I'm confident it's going to be a Figures Toy Company Dracula that got customized into a glow in the dark Sven, but just to have the actual specifics and the actual date that the toy was issued, definitely it's a magnifying glass issue to get into the feet that way. Just from right there in the line, you could see there's Anthony Michael Hall getting ready for the Breakfast Club business, just feet away. So now you got Rich Koz right there. You got Anthony Michael Hall right there, just showing how wild the convention is. Let me switch back again now that I got my photos coming here. Let me there there's us in the line. And again, cool that the photographers were on hand. Right around this time, we also got caught up with Terror Dave, who was,
yes.
as you said, he was aware of the Figures Toy Company figure. Always cool to catch up with Dave. I guess we are jumping around. I wanted to go strict chronological order, but that's the trouble. There's just too much.
But that was a lot of fun.
So after Jill, we did our kind of thing where we kind of follow along with the crew a little bit. And by good fortune, so there's Sven and Jim Roach walking up in the front. And there's, Dave Fuentes right there in the middle of the pack, and Chris Faulkner, the director, and the other people whose names I don't recall or don't know. But it's like a large, it's a large gathering, cruising around the floor. And so then we got to hang out while they were recording the interview with Christopher Jones. And right over Nanette's head and right over my shoulder is the Chris Jones portrait of Sven. So it was super cool to be able to talk with him and get caught up with him. And then again, this is what I thought I didn't have ready, but I'm kind of, I might. Oh, here we go. So last year I did the green face paint for the, instead of vacations or Sven on vacation, it was Sven as there's Dave. It was great seeing you, Dave. Good to know you're right there along hanging out with us, Dave. Excellent. And again, we have Dave's blog loaded up, but if anybody's here, terrordaves.com, if you want full day-by-day recap. Michaela saying hi to Dave. I love it when the comment section interacts. So what I'm saying is I learned a valuable lesson is that maybe I don't mean to take away, of course, I mean, to do a two-dimensional image and make it look great, that's great. But as I was doing, as Dave can attest to the year before, it is a hell of a thing to have the green face paint on the face. So then I went by way, I didn't wear the face paint at the convention again, but I went by way of Chai Star G, and he photoshopped and smoothed out the coloring a little bit. So
nice.
Dave says, "Hey, Michaela," and it's all good. And again, Dave, so now again, attempting to approximate some kind of chronological order coverage. So Dave was right there, as we said, right by the Christopher Jones table. He kind of said, waved us in that we didn't have to be off to the back so much as we were. Dave remains great. I can send you one, Michaela, if you want. That'll be fine. But again, Dave can attest to I look quite disastrous, and I don't mean in a proper horror movie monster kind of way. I don't mean in a proper tribute to Chris Jones' art. I just mean I'm not. I am a complete novice at makeup work, and that was
That's got to be
evident.
hard. That's got to be hard.
And even when I put on extra layers, then to try to smooth it all out, then seconds later, it's anyway, maybe I need to be more a study of what brand is better, or maybe just vacation Sven. Is he when you put on the sunglasses, then you don't have to black out the eyes, and when your wig is down over your face, you don't have to concentrate on the getting the cheek makeup accurate. So things I've learned along the way.
What I did like, it was just wonderful to see Chris and how do I get the
Here, let me switch over.
talking and interviewing. But what I liked is he was drawing at the same time, and I was able to get. It's kind of hard to see, but
Yeah.
there is, that's hard to see because of the. But he was drawing Sven, so that was really awesome to see him do that at the same time while Sven is or Rich is interviewing him. So that was really cool.
This might be a good time for me to say, typically we like to load in the photos or do share screens. So right now I'm having a glitch that the photos weren't loading. Same way as the other night when I had Chai Star G on and he was going through his Artist Alley purchases. And if you haven't watched that and you're interested in Artist Alley, what's the vibe and what is the art that is out there, please go ahead and check that one out also. But I just say that to say, please don't hold the glare against us. Also, right around that time. So here's another Sven cosplayer, and this person, I don't know their name, but if they join us in Reddit or if they happen to show up to watch this person gave me a tiny like keychain rubber chicken, which I should have somewhere. So that again, it's just cool to interact with other people with a similar mindset and taking care of business out there on the floor. Related to not so much anything. And Dave, if you're still there, this guy had the coolest Godzilla jacket ever. So,
oh wow,
Godzilla
I like
Fest
that.
is on the horizon as well. Anyway, absolutely right. That's the whole thing. There's just so much good stuff going on. It's overwhelming in the best of ways. And all right, so how was the rest of Friday? We followed around a little bit. Eventually, we split ways towards the end of the day. Do you have other Friday afternoon highlights that you want to speak on?
I did get, and once again, pardon the glare, I did get finally it's in a frame, but this is Sven meets the DC universe. Rich signed up here, and down here is Christopher Jones's autograph. And when I brought this up to Chris, he's like, "Oh, I always love signing this, and one of my favorites." And then I also got this signed, and that is, and you can see his signature there too. I need to get Rich to sign that, but yeah. I have to say Christopher Jones is one of the nicest people to meet too. He is just really, really sweet.
Very generous with his time, very cool to hang out. And here comes Michaela to say, I haven't got the Sven meets the DC Universe comic book yet, hoping I can find it soon. I think right, they sold it for a quick minute through the Me TV, but then it got sold out quickly. Michaela, if I could go in a time machine and pull extra copies or have nailed one for you back in the day, but as did it take a while for Dave to acquire the 3D classes that were by the generosity of one Warner Todd Houston. So maybe in a similar arrangement.
She could, and I believe that particular the Sven meets the DC universe. If you wanted to see maybe not this cover art, but I believe it was broken down also and distributed in different comic books. parts of it. So if you can find those comic books that say have section 1, section 2, section 3, you would see the entire story. But as for the, yeah, I don't know where you can get it now. I mean, it might be kind of pricey, but
Sometimes a white whale is a good quest to go on.
mhm.
I just want to mixing giant monster metaphors here. White whales and Godzilla jacket. Michaela also liked the Godzilla jacket.
Mhm.
One more person that we had run into was Beetlejuice wearing the same shirt you have on now, the
Yep.
same style of shirt, I should say. So Beetlejuice guy was pretty cool as a Sven fan, hanging out as well. Anyway, back to any other Friday afternoon or Friday evening highlights, or are we ready to jump into Saturday?
Um, God, what was it? Something, no, I think that's it. I'm blurring my Saturdays and my I'm blurring my Friday and my Saturdays, but yes, I believe that is all of Friday.
Right. Okay. So then here comes Saturday, right? So again, there's a autograph line in the morning. I think it was 11:45 to 12:45, if I'm remembering right. And then the photo op session, right? Maybe Sven goes and has a little snack. Another thing I come to appreciate when you got the penciled in makeup mustache. Absolutely. I learned why Sven is using a straw for whatever he's drinking.
Mhm.
Anyway, so maybe he goes and has a little sip of a beverage, a little snack or what have you, or just puts his feet up for a minute and then comes back out for the photo ops. Uh,
I will say I did go and stand in line for the second autograph, and I got that a postcard signed to. He's more of a Twitter friend, and his birthday was that day, so I had him sign a postcard to him saying "Happy Birthday, Anthony." So, oh, and that's in the mail already. But God, what happened on Friday? I can't. Gosh, see, I'm blanking. Something else happened on Friday, but I can't remember. I did go visit Art and Franco of Oh Yeah Comics.
Here, let me go back to the one shot. We got to get Action Cat
I
well
got
highlighted.
Action Cat. They love the button. And Franco signed his one leg, and Art signed up on the tag. And I kind of wanted Art to sign on the other leg, but that's okay. It
Well,
was still.
sometimes it's a busy thing, but again, the opportunity comes up again, and not to, again, trying to stay in order, but follow a thread of a thought. Also, Free Comic Book Day is just around the horizon in 2 weekends, and that'll be
Mhm.
another possible opportunity to hang out with Franco and Art Baltazar
Right.
in
Oh,
beautiful downtown Skokie, as they say.
yes. Oh, and then I also picked up this zombie cat, and even though Art did not work on it, he signed it for me, which I was glad. And then I got Franco's signed right there.
And again, you can't find two nicer guys running a comic shop, co-running a comic shop and being comic creators and producers, as well as on the Oh Yeah Comics YouTube channel and frequent guests, regular guests on the Word Balloon channel with John Siuntres. So it's just, there's so many cool ways to, and this is definitely kid-friendly material. If you can't tell, oh, we got a fun fact. Fun fact. Oh, see, only from the
Oh,
house of Killer
wow.
Dave. Sven never eats when in makeup. He drinks Fiji water with a straw. See, I could have figured Hawaiian
Wow.
Punch. I could have figured a Coca-Cola. I could have what was the old parody for when they did the riff on Hawaiian Punch? I can't anyway,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
only Fiji water right there, clear cut, no question. Fiji water with a straw. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once you got a winning formula,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Thank
classes
you.
in session. Classes in session. All right, so again, come ahead now to Saturday night, and right, there's all the other, right, there's the cosplay and all that, and maybe I'll get into talking about that some other night. There's guy driving around the floor in the Scooby-Doo mystery machine like a kid size, a guy with a inflatable alligator like he was a
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
Irwin. There was so much non-Sven cool stuff to see, but we're staying focused here. We're just making brief references of that stuff. uh Saturday night, there's the panel. there's John, up at the table getting ready and everything, and then they're coming by and doing the mic checks and all that stuff. Sven comes out, they start the conversation. Again, and it was generous enough to save me a spot up in the front.
I'm trying to scroll through his stuff. Go ahead.
Right, we're scrolling, we're talking. If the stuff would have loaded, probably that would have been a smoother operation. But now I'm jumping past all my other convention pictures of. Okay, here's another cosplayer. We'll get to talking about Saturday night. So this guy I saw Saturday afternoon, and I'm like, hey, did you know that the panel is going to? And he, at least that's what he told me. He didn't remember that there was the panel. Yet there he was up at the microphone later on asking a question, and it's a very, very solid, well done rendition he's got of the Sven outfit. I know this is a little tangent, like I said, but when the Museum of Broadcast Communications was open, and hopefully will soon open again, the Svengoolie wall is on the one side, and there's the viewing area. And on the other side, you've got your Bozo and your Garfield Goose and your BJ and the Dirty Dragon stuff. But I was very impressed to see a very quality, well, as I'm just saying here about how hard it is to get the face makeup together. There was a Bozo and a Cookie walking the convention floor Saturday afternoon before we got into the Sven talk, the Sven panel. So that was super, super cool.
Yep. I had put on Twitter that I wrote pics from Svengoolie's panel at C2E2 and included some of those. And then I wrote, bummed I had to leave a few minutes early because of train schedules. And Rich wrote back, no problem. You of all people are allowed to do so.
Well, because let me say, anybody who walked out of the room, as is his tradition, so, glad I was so entertaining for you, or sorry, I'm boring, or I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, he's a greater comedian than I, but it was just the variety of comments he had for every time somebody stepped out of the room early.
And I got panicky, but I figured
I could see it in your eyes.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go unless you're gonna drive me to the train station. I have to go.
Yeah. And now, Michaela, as you just mentioned, Dave was dropping information that you didn't have. Now you're dropping information that I didn't have. So the Sven C2E2 panel podcast on Word Balloon channel on Spotify was already up and out. Maybe John didn't put it up on YouTube yet, or maybe I'm behind the pace to see what John has posted on the Word Balloon YouTube channel. But absolutely, for whichever your favorite means of accessing Word Balloon is, it's good stuff that John was able to moderate. Always doing a great job as moderator. A great pairing. Him and Sven. And there's Johnny. Getting ready to go. That was right before they got going. I did record the entire thing, but I'm not here to give away every moment of it. I just say it was an excellent mix of John and Sven having the conversation, as well as plenty of good measure of audience questions to come in also.
Yes. I'm interested in hearing the last 10 minutes that I missed, or 10, 15 minutes that I missed and had to go catch a train, but yep.
All right, Sunday. Now, Sven's not present at the show, but just to address briefly Sunday highlights, and then we'll jump on to doing a little bit of share screen. We got the Rondo Awards, we got Reddit Svengoolie group, we got Chris Hamby blog, we got the Art of a Svengoolie via a Terror Dave's blog. So it's a lot of share screens to get to sharing in a minute. But any other Sunday highlights that you had?
Sunday, I was actually joined by our Sarah and Drew as their alter egos, Doomed and Blessed. So that was fun walking around with them. I was surprised Sunday was really, really, really crowded and more like a Saturday. And usually Sunday's a little bit more low key, but I will say this, the picture that's behind me, obviously, I dragged that downtown thinking Christopher Jones, I wanted to have him sign it. and then as I got closer, oh, look, thumbs up. As I got closer to him, thank goodness I didn't go up to him because it's already signed. When I bought it, he signed it, and I would have looked like an idiot. Or, well, I would have said, "Hey, sign it again." I don't know.
Well,
But
yeah, right. You could have had just a double coverage or what have you, or he could have
right, but I was like, I took it out of my bag and went, "Ooh."
dated it to
Yeah, like he already signed it. Never mind, I will go away now. But yeah, it was really crowded, and like I said, I was surprised for a Sunday. It was packed.
that was my memory. Early Sunday, roughly 10 to 11 a.m. Sunday. I was like, oh, look at this. The floor is wide open. You can walk around and not be in crowded convention mode. And that lasted a very short amount of time. I did not stick around that long on Sunday, but it was nice to take a lap around. I got to cross paths for my first time ever with Chris Claremont, the longtime writer of the X-Men, and got to say to him, thank you for your years at writing that book, which was very influential to me in my earlier. So concurrent to the son of Svengoolie, right? So there's 1979, continuing through 1980, and right around that same time of my life. I should have
Oh.
brought the water down. Right around that same time of my life, discovering Marvel Comics as a burgeoning, as a entry level collector. All
I
right.
I I forgot one more thing. On
Please,
Friday,
please, please.
Matt was in front of us, and he's also a Sven pal that I met pre-pandemic. But he took some artwork that I had done a couple year or two ago, down to Dr. Gangrene and had it signed. So I wanted to give him a shout out because I was like, wow, I was blown away that he did that. So that was pretty cool.
For people that want to work their depth chart on their horror hosts, again, I encourage people to check out YouTube and other formats for Dr. Gangrene. Uh, some parallels between his career and Rich Koz's career. Also, that there was an initial setup and then not doing the character for a while and then coming back. I'm giving a brief recap. But anyway, you can't
Yeah.
go wrong with Gangrene. And what I specifically appreciate from him is he was looking at the Lon Chaney movies outside of the werewolf movies, in which Lon Chaney Jr., I should say Jr. Creighton, his actual birth name, had a supporting role in the Defiant Ones, and the two co-leads of the Defiant Ones are Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis, and 1950s movie. Anyway, and it's so cool to see Chaney Jr. out without the wolf outfit on and without the wolf makeup, still showing the acting chops and a serious line delivery and great emotional curve. Now let me come back to comments. Dave said someone from C2E2, I'm guessing an official C2E2 person, told Jim, as in Jim Roach, that there were more people attending Friday than Saturday. Wow, that's
Wow.
hey, and
That's
Saturday sold out for the single day
yeah.
passes also. So that's very, very curious.
Huh. Interesting. Hmm.
All right, we've been talking con, and I think we can't cover every single moment, every single thing that we saw that was cool. But now to switch, switching over, let's come to the where's my here we go. Okay, so Rondo Awards, because we're on the clock that the Rondo Awards Sunday night will shut down. Let me get back to where I can scroll. I need to find the right tab. So
There it is.
starting in the year 2002, is it? Yep, right there. 2002 was the first year the Rondo Awards were out. So now we're into 23 years of Rondo, and the categories have expanded. The voting ballots have become more complicated. But to just give a quick run through, right? Best film of 2024, best TV presentation, best Blu-ray, best this, best that. I think it's when we get all the way up to 21. And I'm just scrolling fast here, people. Scrolling fast to get to here, best interview, best column, best magazine cover. So many best website here. We got multimedia. There's the Monsters That Made Us, Mike and Dan. Are a votable category right there under 19. But then we get to, did I jump past it? Horror host.
Right there. Oh,
Yeah. Favorite horror host right there. So, still listing Big Chuck and Little John. So that's kind of cool. You got your Count Gore Vidals in there. You got Dr. Gangrene, as we just mentioned, you got your Elvira. So as Rich himself says, vote for whoever is your actual favorite. I see Joe Bob down there. I see Carlos Borloff down there. So again, I don't mind disclosing my vote around here, and definitely voted for Sven
Me
for
too.
best horror, for favorite horror host. I did also vote for the monsters that made us. I put in a Nosferatu. I voted for. I won't go with my ballot up and down, but I definitely don't know all the categories, or I don't. I'm not that much of a well versed student of the game to know everything to cover. So I vote for some. And anyway, people who are they said that about 6,500 people were contributing voters. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to comment on any of the other votes, or your just process with Rondo, or your experience or your history with Rondo?
I've always emailed it from work, and I and I always ask, I hope I did it right, and he always responds, "Yes, you did. Thank you."
Great.
So that's nice.
So looking forward to those results coming around, so we can again recap those once they're up. Michaela, no surprise, voted for Sven. Okay, so now let me see. Let me do a stop share in the backdrop over there, and let's get up another tab with a share screen, and I gotta click again. Let's go to Chris Hamby. Let's go to Chris Hamby. And again, we were just saying, at our age, it's a it's a thing to sort through the dark background and the gray, but we were starting out there on where Jamie Lee was depicted. Anyway, so because it's a double feature tonight, right? A Svengoolie and then a House of Svengoolie. It came from outer space, and then Munchie. So as always, for your top bloggers here, right? It's your Chris Hamby Silver Screens Reflections, where Chris is going to walk you through the history of the films, and is very much a film historian, very much a thorough, at length descriptor of all of what's going on. So it's great that I encourage people to check out Chris's commentary. Nanette, your thoughts on Chris in general, or Chris's latest scripting here?
Chris is just a wealth of knowledge on especially Svengoolie and um, all the movies that he's shown. So he really goes in depth for if there's something you think you know all about that particular movie, Chris probably has something that you didn't know. So he really delves in there and gets all the information, and it's just amazing how much he knows.
His historical viewer count at the time, we were clocking approaching 99 to then hit 100,000. He is currently at 107,443 total viewers across the duration of his blog. So that is super cool. But again, so he's got a lot of words, he's got a lot of links, he's got a lot of connections. We're digging into Edward G. Robinson. We're pulling old WFLD Channel 32 clips for the 3D glasses with the creature. So much that Chris has covered here, but I definitely wanted to highlight that Chris put in the plug or the link for me. Oh boy, I'm even getting worn out scrolling. Anyway, here's the It Came from Outer Space poster. There's the Munchies poster, but I know Jamie, there's the Rondo. There you go. So check out Brides, out now. So if we look at Jamie Lee around her YouTube, it's definitely a great production that she did. Again, I appreciate Hamby putting in the links to our recent shows over here. Many continuing thanks to Chris Hamby for doing what he does. Let me come back around and let's see. Chris Hamby, Michaela says voted for Chris for the Rondos as well. Oh, well, that's very
Aw,
kind of you, Michaela.
nice.
I consider myself not having the longevity that others have, but I'm not here to move away from your kindness, Michaela. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Chris
Awesome.
Hamby. Oh, all right. Hamby
Oh,
at 18 and me at
nice.
19, back to back.
Very
Super
cool.
cool. All right. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, so let's do blog to blog, and then we'll close out with Reddit. So let's now do my whole thing where I'm trying to not have dead air time while I have to click share screen a couple times. But there we come to the art of a Svengoolie public appearance. let me get back up to the top here. Again, Dave is in retirement or semi-retirement at least, but what a great, here, let me come back here and get us more out of the way to make it larger for the images and the words that Dave had captured, and come back over in here now. Again, there we are at the Christopher Jones booth. And again, the same thing. I want to encourage people. I'm not trying to give away the whole bit, but there's some others. And if we can hit the well, anyway, like I'm
Number
saying,
2.
I encourage
Oh,
people to
if you go to number 2 further down, it goes to the photos. And I believe there's photos. Yep, there you go.
there they go, unloading the car, the full thing.
There's pictures
Again,
of you.
right there's the right. Oh, right. So off
There.
of Jim's shoulder, there, his left shoulder. That's the person who gave me the cosplay, the Sven cosplayer who gave me the tiny keychain rubber chicken. I guess it says right the other. Oh, the other shoulder, the right shoulder. It's a Gwen Goulie cosplayer with the shield there. It's and there's us in the line. There's again, let me not give everything away because people. It's
Right.
truly fair to go to Dave's direct blog and take a check over there. Let me come back to where I can see us, and then
I like
uh,
Dave's blog just because it allows a lot of behind the scenes stuff that it's just really interesting to find out.
right,
And I
no,
and I appreciate Dave doing that because that's very nice.
it's super cool, and it's a singular entity, is a unique commodity. Nobody else has has the right time and the right place and the right access to deliver as Dave does deliver. And Dave in his previous post says he's in retirement. I want Dave to enjoy his retirement after all that stuff, but the same thing. If a new thing comes out, or if he borrows back against his retirement, I'm all for checking that out as well. So let's come over to our Reddit community, and let's get them up in the screen and get some Reddit stuff here. I think we're already looking at Michaela art. Let me see where we're at specifically. So this is Michaela's Summerween themed art. So, not too different from what I'm doing. Sven on vacation. I do not have a rubber duck. Maybe I need to incorporate that into my bit,
Oh, that would be,
Michaela, and get a rubber duck.
yeah.
Uh,
Get a floaty.
yeah. So here's some of your pictures again from the panel.
Hmm.
And right there's Sven and John and all the good stuff and good. Now somebody else in Reddit, and I was trying to find the post. I couldn't find the post. Was sitting like across the way from us. So if we were on the more left side,
They
the
were on the
other
right.
person from Reddit was sitting on the right, and I couldn't find their post again. But I wanted to highlight. Okay, so there you go, the baseball shirt.
Yep.
How is the brand new Sven at the store, Sven store baseball shirt? What's your
It's
report on that?
it's high quality. I was going to wear that, for this, but then you really don't see it. But it's high quality, and I really like it. It's very cute.
Yep. I look forward to landing mine sometime in the near future. Again, plenty of other people making plenty of other contributions. Here's again, Nanette, and it's a top 1%er of commenters in Reddit. No doubt. Anyway, there's just Nanette again putting out the good word for Rondo. There's the new mugs. If you buy 3, you get the 4th one for free. The same
That's
stuff.
just
So here we go. Kerwin.
oh
Let's
God.
talk about your Funko Pop Kerwin. And again, let me get us more in the corner of the screen so it's more visible right there, square.
I'm actually working on him right now in the basement. I'm painting him. He's not going to look as good as the Photoshop version, but he's coming along. He's kind of a scary looking Kerwin.
Just the right amount of cuteness and just the right amount of creepiness. Let
Hmm.
me in my scrolling and jumping, let me totally cover up our faces now. Thanks, Nanette, says Davey, appreciates that. And thanks for, hey, well, again, this channel wouldn't be, it might be something different, but it wouldn't be the same if not for Dave being the first Sven guest and co-host, and again letting me have introductions or setting me up with introductions to the whole rest of the Sven. You can still work when retired, just not as often. Now, all of a sudden, Campbell's Corner comes in, chicken jockey. It wouldn't be a show without Jim Campbell stopping through. Michaela has to say, I love the baseball jersey, hoping she can get it soon. Michaela saying hi to Jim Campbell over in from Michaela's Corner to Campbell's Corner. Good stuff. Let me pull. Why is the comment not coming back around? Okay. So other Reddit highlights. And then again, we're coming at 50 minutes. And again, the whole thing is we'd like to do a 5 o'clock Central, then get a little break, have a little Stooges or a little dinner, and then come into the show. So this was a well-liked post here. Sven via Blue Sky. And who posted this? Was it Delinard? Delinard. Well, Delinard, whoever you are, valuable contributor in Reddit. But there was a very well-liked post of Sven with Patton Oswalt. And again, just to then tell us, what are we looking at here? Scanlan Short?
I don't, I'll be honest with you. I saw some artwork at C2E2 of this. I don't know. I think he had pointy ears and was elf-like, but it had more of a, I don't know who it was. I took a photo and then did a reverse image lookup, and it said it was Scallion Shorthalt, some bard or something like that. And I was like, well, from what I was looking at in the original painting, he kind of looked like, just reminded me of Sven. So I kind of did a drawing, a sketch of him, and then finished it out in fresco. But I really don't know who that particular character is. I just thought, oh, he looks like Sven. I think I'm gonna mess with that. So,
and I'm getting some, as if you've done mashups, many a mashup. I'm also getting some Snidely Whiplash vibes here. A little bit of Penelope Pit Stop in the complexion. Always appreciative. And again, here's Tower Junkie just from earlier today, 6 hours a day, promoting the Rondo Awards. And again, people are encouraged to come hang out in the subreddit group. We're approaching 8,000. We used to be closer to 2,000 and change, and the group is growing, but it's all pleasantries, and it's no trolling, and it's no negative clowning around for nothing. Jim says back to Michaela. Dave, again, juggling comments. Dave says, great image, Nanette. Also, your Svengoolie panel pictures are way better than mine.
I don't know. I think you're more of a professional photographer, Dave. I'm just using my phone. And even then, hopefully my finger's not in the way or anything like that. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, but you're better at it than me.
All right, Nanette, any closing thoughts or highlights that we had yet to cover, or just a summary comment before we start to wind down?
I'm looking forward to the double feature tonight. I saw Munchies a while ago, but I didn't see it in its entirety. And it appears that my DVR now recognizes House of Sven. So Svengoolie and House of Sven is recording, as opposed to like Puppet Master. I didn't get the whole thing because it didn't know what it was. So I'm glad that once again, check your DVRs, because sometimes it's recording, sometimes it's not. So, and
be it the DVRs or be it the Friendly app, it continues to be a thing that the viewers are trying to sort out and settle up on. So I do hope that those technical issues would get resolved. I'll just give a future forecast. I don't know, Dave, if you're still there, Jimmy Campbell, so coming up in 2 weekends, Nightmare Weekend Chicago. This is at the Stevenson Convention Center. This is a new one to me. I've never been there before, but I wouldn't mind catching up with an Eddie Patrick. I mean,
Butch.
Yeah, a Butch Patrick and a Munster. There, I definitely need somebody to.
Butch Patrick.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Nanette. Anyway, Elvira's on deck also, so that's something to look forward to. And then I was just bumming around the Horror House and Brood and Bric-a-Brac Records, and then popped by the Alley. This was a cool something I'll dig into more another time. But the Alley had this. So here's the Mark the guy behind the alley back to the 80s and such. So he put this whole directory of, you got your Bucket of Blood records, you got
Wow,
your all your
that's
spots
cool.
that he highlights. So I'll be breaking that down coming soon.
I miss where the location of the old
Oh,
alley, because we would always, go there, and I kind of miss that because they had all this art. They had Frank Zappa like painted on one of the walls, Kurt Cobain on one of the walls, and I miss now it's a Target.
yeah, but not functional, but not the same personality and not the
Not the
same
same.
vibe, not at all.
Not the same.
All right. So in order of the how people commented, Michaela was on deck first. Michaela, always appreciate you coming around and look forward. We did put your question in front of Sven. Looking forward to you getting a more substantial answer from Sven on what advice you would have to an aspiring horror host such as yourself. Great to have Dave in the comment section. And again, giving us the Fiji water info that nobody else can. Awesome to have Jim Campbell jump in toward the end. Nanette, thanks for coming around here. Leave it to Jim Campbell when I'm trying to wind down to come back. I
Oh,
remember
good.
the
Yes,
old
the
alley
Pumpkin
next to
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Everyone would get towed.
Oh yeah, that was a thing to be cautious of.
Yes, it
To be
was.
cautious of.
Thank you for having me.
If there's any advantage to the new spot, then right, the towing is not an issue like it was back in the
Right.
day. I'm gonna go have some dinner, maybe a little Three Stooges, and try to stay awake through the double feature. Again, there's plenty of good stuff coming around. Not too far into the future is the Flashback Horror Con weekend, so we'll look for the round up the usual suspects for that as well. But for tonight, Nanette, thanks for coming around.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
being in
having
the
me.
comment section. I'm going to close us out, and we'll be back again sometime soon. Thanks and thanks.